The cold streetlights of Chicago's west side flickered in the early morning mist. Ellie hurried awake from a fitful sleep on the bunk bed she shared in a rented room with several older roommates. The shabby house sat in a narrow alley. Every month she struggled to pay the rent in full so she could still cover her younger brother's tuition. Ellie had once attended a community college, but with her family already in dire straits and her visa about to expire, she was forced to drop out halfway through and take a full-time job. Every morning she donned her Swift Deliveries uniform and rode her battered electric bike through crowded streets. Each doorbell she rang, each delivery made just minutes late, ratcheted up her anxiety. American customers were quick to complain. In the afternoon, Ellie rushed to cook a simple meal, instant noodles mixed with frozen vegetables, for her mother and brother. She knew her brother was still in high school, and if she didn't work herself to the bone, his dream of college would vanish. Her ailing mother only nodded, her anxious eyes shining with pride at her daughter's selflessness. At night, Ellie changed into a different uniform, a black blouse and navy slacks, and slipped into the Blue Note bar to work as a server. The DJ's heavy bass rattled the floor, laser lights danced, and Western patrons jostled one another as they sipped their still-cold beers. She carried trays of drinks, offering a polite nod and practiced smile to conceal the curious stares and occasional crude teasing. For Ellie, every tip was a guarantee that her brother could stay in school and her mother could afford her medicine. One Sunday evening in late May, Blue Note was packed. Ellie hoisted a tray of IPAs toward a corner table, where a lone young man sat hunched over a half-finished essay on his MacBook Pro. Stage lights gleamed off his handsome features, and his sandy brown hair was neatly swept back. "Could I get another IPA, please?" he asked in a polite American accent. Ellie nodded, set the glass before him, and asked, "Need anything else?" He paused, then smiled. "Thanks, Ellie. I'm Henry." "Ellie," she replied, her heart fluttering. Henry Thompson, star student at the University of Chicago, scion of a wealthy real estate dynasty, was someone everyone assumed only knew books and exclusive parties for the elite. From that night on, Henry frequented the bar, ordering drinks and asking for Ellie by name. He gently inquired about her work, her family, and even confided his dream of becoming a heart surgeon. Ellie was both moved and hesitant. After all, she was just a Latino immigrant who had dropped out of college and scrambled to survive on odd jobs. One stormy afternoon, after the bar had emptied, Henry walked her to the door. "You shouldn't walk home alone in weather like this." He offered her an umbrella emblazoned with a university logo. Under the drifting rain, she hesitated, then accepted it and walked beside him. After that, they often stopped at a cozy cafe post-shift. Henry spoke of grueling classes and family pressure, while Ellie shared her dream of sending her brother to college. Their class and cultural differences seemed to melt away with each comforting word and tender glance. Henry's friends quickly noticed. One sneered, "He's dating a bar server?" "That's so unexpected." Henry only smiled and took Ellie's hand. On Henry's 18th birthday, held at a riverside luxury hotel, he suddenly pulled Ellie onto the stage. "I want everyone to know Ellie is the reason I smile every day." The room erupted in applause. But when the party ended and Henry slept off the champagne, Ellie slipped away, leaving only a simple note on his empty chair. "Thank you for everything. Take care, Ellie." He searched all over Chicago but never found her, only the echo of the cold river. Ellie returned to her rented apartment late that night. The air felt stifling. Maria, her mother, sat at the wobbly wooden table, the yellow lamp casting shadows across her lined face. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "Ellie, I know you're in love. But he's not part of our world. You have your brother and your weak mother to think of. People will call you frivolous, mock our family. You must end this relationship." Ellie's heart shattered. She tried to hold back her breath. "Mom, you misunderstand. Henry, he's good to me." "Good?" Maria flung down the phone bill. "Good enough to abandon you in this city? I won't let you suffer more." Her voice hardened. "Tomorrow, you leave Chicago. Go somewhere, anywhere, and don't contact him again." Ellie wept, clutching her mother's hands, but her tears could not move her determined mother. She knew she had no choice. However painful, her love for Henry had become a burden, threatening her family's fragile peace. Meanwhile, at a high-end gym on the north side, Henry worked out with friends David Carter and Sarah Jenkins. When he mentioned Ellie, his eyes clouded with guilt. "I've texted and called everywhere, she's gone." David scoffed, "You were so dumb. Who'd accept you dating a bar server?" Sarah chimed in, "And I hear your mother hates her. Mrs. Thompson wants to separate you two as soon as possible." Henry gripped the barbell. "I don't care what anyone says, I just want Ellie back." But doubt gnawed at him. Could he truly understand her suffering? Could their love overcome class prejudice and family pressure? Standing alone by the old Michigan Avenue pier, Henry reread unsent texts and stared at a photo of Ellie smiling in Blue Note. His chest ached. Despair gradually replaced hope, and he shut his heart, diving into his finance studies and work at Thompson Capital. Time marched on without mercy. Ellie, after leaving Chicago, she drifted across the East Coast, waiting tables, cashiering, bartending, anything to scrape by. She saved every tip and penny, eventually launching her first juice and milk tea stand in Philadelphia. Ellie's Refresh grew into a beloved brand, expanding to New York, Boston, and Miami. She became a young, powerful entrepreneur, steel watch on her wrist, crisp blouses, her once shy gaze now confident. Yet in every success, Ellie kept her memories of Henry close. Whenever she glimpsed the distant blue sea, she recalled those rainy Chicago afternoons. Henry, at Thompson Capital, he rose swiftly from analyst to the youngest executive director in the firm's history by age 24. From Chicago to New York, he pitched to multinational clients, earning acclaim in finance. On his desk sat a framed photo, Henry and Ellie in the bar, his adoring eyes locked on hers. Yet at night, when city lights dimmed, he still dreamt of the gentle smiling girl. He lacked the courage to find her, pride and fear of too late held him back. For 6 years, their lives ran in parallel without crossing. Under one sky, they orbited different worlds, his in cold finance, hers in warm cafes and sweet beverages. One scorching summer afternoon, Ellie stood behind her mobile refreshment cart on Miami Beach, surveying the market for a new branch. As she bent to pick up a flyer blown by the breeze, a familiar voice called out, "Ellie?" Her heart stopped. She looked up to see Henry, in a short-sleeved shirt and chinos, holding a coconut cocktail. After 6 years, his hair was still neat, his gaze just as tender. Ellie backed away, voice trembling, "Henry, what are you doing here?" He stepped forward, smiling gently. "I was meeting a partner, then stopped by the beach. I didn't expect to see you." She spun and ran down the shore, footprints trailing in the sand. Henry chased after her. "Ellie, wait." She halted, waves at her back, voice quivering, "Why won't you leave me alone? It's over." He took a deep breath, closing the distance to 2 strides before stopping. "I couldn't live without you. I've searched for you these 6 years. Today, if you'll let me, I want to start again." The sunset painted the sea gold as the salt breeze mingled with the surf. Tears welled in Ellie's eyes. I can't forget you. But I'm afraid. Afraid you'll leave me again." Henry reached for her hand. "This time, I promise I won't. Will you give me a chance?" After a beat, Ellie nodded. The waves whispered their assent. After their fateful Miami reunion, Ellie returned to Ellie's Refresh in a daze. Henry spent the next morning emailing partners, then flew back to Miami with a bouquet of white tulips, the very flowers she had mentioned loving. They met at a beachfront cafe. Henry quietly placed the blooms on the table and looked at Ellie. "I came to apologize for letting you go alone. I've never stopped regretting it." Ellie's eyes glistened. "I tried to forget, but every time I saw the sea or rain, I thought of you. I'm scared of getting hurt again." Henry squeezed her hand. "I understand. I'm not asking you to trust me immediately. I just want to be by your side and rebuild that trust, step by step." In the days that followed, they spoke candidly. Ellie described the pressures of managing her chain and caring for her mother in Philadelphia. Henry shared the tensions of his meetings at Thompson Capital. Each exchange became a brick paving their renewed closeness. One afternoon, Ellie brought Henry to tour the milk tea production facility she planned to open, a venture funded by every penny she'd saved. Henry listened attentively, then offered capital support and introduced marketing experts. Touched, Ellie said, "I never imagined asking you to partner with me." He smiled. I'd always believed in you, just as I first believed you'd succeed. As the sun dipped low, they stood side by side at the factory entrance, hands clasped, an emblem of past healed and future bright. Henry persuaded his family to invite Ellie to an intimate dinner at their Michigan Avenue lakeside mansion. That night, crystal chandeliers twinkled as Mr. and Mrs. Thompson and Henry's younger brother awaited them on the terrace. "Dad, Mom, this is Ellie Rivera," Henry introduced. Mrs. Thompson, elegant but reserved, nodded. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Ellie." Ellie curtsied politely, her voice soft but clear. "Thank you for having me." Mr. Thompson asked about her business plans. When Mrs. Thompson learned that Ellie had built her chain from scratch, her eyes lit with admiration. "That's impressive. You should be proud." The evening warmed as Henry's brother guzzled Ellie's signature milk tea, and Sarah and David, once scornful, approached her with genuine interest about her work. Henry squeezed Ellie's hand. "I told everyone you're extraordinary." Ellie smiled confidently. For the first time, she felt fully accepted by her beloved's family. A few weeks later, Henry and Ellie co-hosted the grand opening of the 5th Ellie's Refresh in Chicago. Partners, loyal customers, and local press gathered. Henry stood at the edge of the stage, pride shining in his eyes. "We've come a long way, from late-night shifts at the bar to inaugurating our 5th store. I'm so happy to see you shine." Ellie's voice trembled with gratitude. "Thank you for always standing by me and giving me confidence." As fireworks bloomed over Chicago's skyline, Henry drew a silver ring from his pocket and knelt before Ellie. "Will you continue to be my partner in life and in business?" Tears of joy streamed down her face as Ellie nodded. "Yes, Henry. I will." Amid applause and sparklers, they vowed lifelong devotion. After their dazzling engagement fireworks, Ellie and Henry returned to her small home, where Maria and Miguel awaited with a celebratory dinner. Laughter filled the room as Maria held her daughter's hand. "I'm so proud of you, Ellie. You've done the impossible." Miguel chattered excitedly about upcoming college, while Henry playfully bantered to lighten the mood. But happiness soon brought a new dilemma. Expanding Ellie's Refresh in Chicago required significant capital, just as Thompson Capital was reeling from reported profit declines in Asia. Henry faced pressure from the board, and Ellie refused to lean solely on her fiancé's family name. She proposed a transparent joint meeting between both sides. That night in the Lakeshore Drive Tower office, they pored over reams of plans. "I don't want to rely on Thompson's reputation," Ellie whispered. Henry placed a hand on her shoulder. "I trust you. Let's start with a smaller flagship store, funded from my market research fund." Ellie exhaled in relief. "Thank you for listening." Together, they drafted a business proposal, Ellie handling operations and marketing, Henry managing finance and negotiations. This new challenge deepened their bond and clarified each other's strengths. Just before the new branch's grand opening, disaster struck. Their main milk tea powder supplier abruptly canceled the contract amid allergy preservative allegations. The news spread online, and Ellie's Refresh teetered on the brink. Panicking, Ellie called Henry in New York. "I'm in crisis. If we can't find a replacement now, we'll lose everything." Henry canceled his trip and flew back to Chicago. Late into the night, they and the team searched for viable samples. Sarah, the PR lead who had once opposed them, showed up with a different attitude. "If you need it, I can connect you with my California contacts." Her unexpected help stunned Ellie. In 2 sleepless days, they secured a certified supplier, signed the contract, and Henry fronted the deposit while Ellie arranged immediate shipping. On opening morning, customers queued around the block. Press praised the young owner's crisis management. Among the crowd, Ellie spotted Henry beaming. "I knew you'd pull through." Tears welled in her eyes. "Thank you for standing by me, even when storm clouds gathered." Months later, Ellie and Henry wed in a hydrangea garden on Chicago's outskirts. Family, friends, and business partners who had weathered the journey joined them. Maria, dressed in a pastel pink dye, handed Ellie a handkerchief embroidered with "You will always be my little flower." Sunlight streamed through the arbor as Ellie walked down the aisle in a white gown by a famous American designer. At the end, Henry waited, his eyes alight with joy. As they exchanged rings, the past fell away. Henry whispered, I promise to walk with you through storms and sunshine. Ellie grasped his hand. I promise to trust you and chase our dreams together. A violinist played, and Henry kissed Ellie's forehead. Confetti rained down as they were celebrated by loved ones. Later, they slipped behind the glow of lanterns to a wooden sign reading Ellie and Henry, forever. In that lantern-lit hush, they embraced. We've traveled from delivery shifts to bar service, from crises to triumph. Every step has been worth it. Henry kissed her brow. You are the best part of my journey. On that summer night in Chicago, their hearts beat as one, beginning a new chapter of complete happiness and love. After the wedding, Ellie and Henry settled in her corner apartment on the 12th floor overlooking Lake Michigan. In the mornings, Henry brewed Kenyan coffee while Ellie made fruit-topped pancakes. Over breakfast, they reminisced, their first rainy encounter, the laser lights of Blue Note. I remember you leaving on my birthday, Henry said with a laugh that still bore regret. Ellie smiled softly. I was scared. But now I know we must face things together, not run away. Their new life wasn't all sweetness. Ellie accepted an invitation to speak on young entrepreneurship at the University of Chicago, while Henry rotated through London for partner negotiations. They vowed nightly video calls when apart, weekend cooking dates, lakeside walks, or finance documentaries. Bathed in afternoon sun, Ellie reviewed sales reports as Henry answered emails. They sat opposite each other, each on a laptop, but maintained their cherished work date. Their home sprang to life in small ways, the sofa they chose together, shelves filled with mementos, and a kitchen echoing laughter. One day, Maria called in a trembling voice. My health is failing. The doctor says I need emergency surgery. Ellie immediately canceled her New York trip and flew to Philadelphia. In the sterile hospital room, Henry stood by her, holding her hand. I'll be here caring for your mother with you. The 5-hour surgery felt endless. Finally, the doctor announced success. Though Maria would need a long recovery, she was out of immediate danger. Henry stayed bedside while Ellie arranged for her mother to move into a nearby apartment for ongoing care. Meanwhile, Henry's parents, though now accepting Ellie, worried the young couple would buckle under dual careers. Mrs. Thompson offered Ellie a consulting role at Thompson Capital. Torn, Ellie confided in Henry. I don't want my hard work to be wasted. Henry hugged her tight. I support you no matter what. If you want to keep Ellie's refresh independent, I'll help from afar. In the end, Ellie declined a formal position but agreed to serve as a strategic partner, aiding Thompson Capital's health drink market expansion. Their family's ventures now complemented rather than clashed. 3 years after their wedding, Ellie's Refresh operated in over 20 U.S. cities and began exporting ingredients to Europe. Henry, now vice chairman of Thompson Capital, joined Ellie on stage at Harvard's Leadership in Tandem Forum, sharing their story before hundreds of students. On Harvard Yard stage, Ellie said, I was once a delivery girl in Chicago, working myself to exhaustion. When I left my first love behind, I thought loneliness would consume me. But perseverance and a devoted partner taught me that nothing is impossible when you stand together. Henry, seated in the audience, beamed. You are living proof of willpower's power. You conquered the world, and I'm blessed to hold your hand at every turn. Back in Chicago, their family welcomed a new member, baby Mia, whose dark curls mirrored Henry's childhood. Maria cradled her granddaughter, eyes filled with joy. You've given me a miracle. Ellie looked at Henry, her heart whispering, every joy and every trial has been worth it because we share them. Henry kissed Mia's forehead, then turned to Ellie. Thank you for not running away, so now we have this perfect little family. From a Chicago delivery girl and bar server to a chain store owner and Harvard speaker, Ellie's journey stands as proof of perseverance and true love. By her side always is Henry, friend, partner, and devoted husband. Together, they overcame prejudice, family storms, and business crises to build a complete home. And Ellie and Henry's story continues each day, amid life's hustle, against the backdrop of Lake Michigan and global business trips, they uphold their promise, through storms or calm, we'll always walk together.